And now it's time for coding challenge number 3. And we are still working on our football betting application. Now this time we have this map down here, so this one, which contains all the events that happened during the game. So the values here are the events themselves, for example a goal or a substitution, and the keys are the minutes in which the event occurs. And just notice that a football game has 90 minutes plus some extra time. So this might be a little bit over 90, but usually it's always 90 minutes, in case you're not familiar with this beautiful game. Anyway, your tasks are to create an array called events, which will contain all the different game events that happened during this game. And that means no duplicates in that array. Now, after the game has finished, it was found that the yellow card from minute 64 was unfair. So please just remove this event from the log. Next up, print this string to the console. An event happened on average every 9 minutes. And of course, your task is to calculate this 9 minutes, keeping in mind that the game has 90 minutes. Finally, loop over the events and then log them to the console. And what's tricky about this is that you should mark whether they happened in the first half of the game or the second half. And the second half means that it happened after 45 minutes. So it should look something like this. So I believe that this challenge is a little bit easier than the previous one. And so hopefully you can manage to complete all of these 4 tasks. So I see you once you're done. So I hope that was fun. So let's get started immediately with the solution here. So we should create an array called events with the unique events. So basically, that's the unique values of all of these here. Now, what are these values here? They are essentially the values of this map, right? So what I'm saying is that they are game events dot values. And we learned about this one kind of by the end of the last video. So let's comment out this one here. And so indeed, we see that this is what contains the values that we are interested in. All right. So let's say game events dot values, and this is our starting point. And now to get the unique values here, we basically need to create a set out of this, right? That's the main use case of sets. So, new set, but this alone is not going to be enough, but let's still take a look at this for now. And beautiful. So indeed we have a set with the only 4 events that happened. So there were only goals, substitutions, yellow cards, and red cards. And now, to convert this to an array, we do it just like before. Create a new array and a spread operator to unpack this set. And then we are done. Next up, this one is the easiest one. So it tells us to delete the event from minute 64. So that's very easy. So game events dot delete. And now all we have to do is to use that exact key, and then that event will be gone. Great. The next one is just as easy, I believe. So let's just grab this from here. And now we just need to calculate this actual average. And how do we do that? So basically, to say that an event happened every X minutes, we simply need to divide the number of events by 90 minutes. So the duration of the game. So we see here that we have 3, 6, 9, 11 events. So how can we count that programmatically? Well, for that we have game events.size. Remember? And now we just divide that by 90. And with that we get this weird number. And that's because, in fact, we need the opposite. So we need to say 90 minutes divided by how many events there happened to say that on average something happened every 9 minutes. Now, if we wanted to be really specific, then this game actually lasted 92 minutes. So how do we get that value? So this is just a bonus. Okay, I didn't expect you to do this one. So this 92 is essentially the last of the keys of the map. So let's get the keys. So that's game events dot keys. And as always, we need to convert this to an array. So using all the tools that we already learned. So just to make sure, indeed, it is. And now we want the last value. And how can we get the last value? Do you remember that? Well, we can use the pop method. And in the past, we mainly used the pop method to simply delete the last element of the array. But also back then, I told you that this also returns that deleted array. Or actually that deleted element. And so here we can take advantage of that. So this here is an array now. And so on that, we can call pop. And so that will take the last element out of the array and give it to us. So that's 92. And so to make this really accurate, here we can now say time. Okay, and so this is even better right now. But again, this is just kind of a bonus just to show you some more nice little tricks. Anyway, now our goal is to loop through the object, or actually through the map. And so this is pretty standard now at this point. Now here we are missing the off. So just like we did in the last video. And now all we need to do is to figure out the half. So if it's the first half or the second half. So what we want to log to the console is this. And then so either first or second half. And then the minute, I believe, let's see. Yeah, so the minute and then colon and then the event. So let's actually make these here more specific. So minute and event. So that makes it easier to read the code. So minute and event. And now here let's just again create an external variable, which I'm going to call the half. And let's use the ternary operator here again. So if the minute is below or equal 45, then it is the first. Otherwise, it's the second. And that's it. And that worked just fine once again. Okay. So I hope that made sense. In case it didn't, then as always, just analyze the code, or you can also just ask some questions in the Q&A area. Anyway, we're now almost done with this section. Next up, all we have left to do is to work with strings, which is also a really nice and really interesting topic that we need in JavaScript all the time. So make sure to follow me there right away.